Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Chocolate Living. Thanks for joining me today. I'm just enjoying it not being so oppressively hot today. It rained this morning, it's been a little bit cloudy today, but that heat's coming back with a vengeance tomorrow and later into the week. It's been tough getting used to it. Not that I'm spending a ton of time outside because, because of the heat. I'd like to get outside and move a little bit more outside instead of just always being in the gym, but that's going to have to wait a couple of months. Yes, a couple of months, because while I already hear some people talking about, you know, summer coming to an end before too long, not where I am. It's full-on summer for at least 2 more months, 2.5 more months, because even late September here in Alabama, South Alabama, is just hot as can be. But anyhow, we're not here to talk about the weather today. I wanted to talk about transitioning to a raw vegan lifestyle. I do videos every day, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button now, click on the little bell, and check send notifications so you will stay subscribed to the channel. I haven't done a transition video in a while, and probably I don't know that I'm going to say anything earth-shattering or new than I have said in previous transition videos, but you know, it's just always good repetition, getting it in. And also too, I got a transition playlist. I have people asking me different questions all the time, how to get to the raw vegan lifestyle, how to go raw vegan. So that's my best tips, my best suggestions in there. You know, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of like lay out just my opinion too. Just my opinion. I'm not saying this is the only way that will work. You know, people get to different places in different ways. But if I was going to advise somebody, this is kind of how I would tell them to do it. Now, it depends on where you're coming from. You know, if you're coming from the standard American diet, if you're just like on the standard American diet, just coming from the standard American diet and you're trying to be raw vegan. Whether you're trying to just be high raw vegan, fully raw vegan, or whatever. I would suggest this, okay? And a lot of it, you want to take your time, you want to do things when you're ready, because it's about long term. It's not about getting there, you know, in a month. It's not about, you know, doing something immediately. Although, I mean, you know, sometimes that's a little, some people do that and they always let you know they do. I went raw vegan overnight. And you're always just kind of rolling your eyes in the background. But okay, let me break it down a little bit. If you're doing if you're new to veganism in general, or if you're not even vegan yet, I would say that's the part you could get to, in my opinion, pretty quickly. People like to use it as their crutches and, oh, I'm going slow and I'm going to drop this week, that week, whatever. Now, while I recommend a slower transition to the raw vegan part of it, I totally believe that somebody could go plant-based vegan just like that. And what would help them do that is to eat plenty of food. I think that's kind of counterintuitive, because a lot of people that are coming to this lifestyle, unless they're just coming strictly for the ethical aspect, which I respect a lot too, if there's any health aspect to it, they're probably approaching this kind of like a diet, or with the mindset of a diet. And, you know, not only are you dropping the animal products, but I think when people come to this, they tend to, you know, think diet and they eat less. To go vegan, to go plant-based, you just need to eat a lot of food. You need to stay full. You know, eat plenty of calories. Don't even think about it. Maybe you're overeating. When all your objective is you were trying to get to vegan. You're trying to get to plant-based. That's like step one. So don't worry about if you're doing it perfectly, if you're using, you know, if it's not the best version of it. Just get to plant-based. That's step number one. Get to plant-based. Eat plenty of food, but try to get in as much good, healthy food as possible. I mean, you know, sweet potatoes. I'm all about those sweet potatoes, quinoa, tons of good stuff out there. So get to plant-based. Now, once you get to plant-based, that's when I say you need to be a little bit more, I don't know if I'd say strategic about it, but it's going to vary for individual people. At that point, I would just say slow, getting cleaner in your plant-based diet, and getting higher raw in your plant-based diet. But just, you know, work that at your comfort level. But also too, don't get stuck in transition. Don't get, you know, transition isn't a place where you just kind of like pull the car in, you park, and you talk about for the next year, just kind of to fluff it off, well, I'm in transition. While I don't recommend rushing your transition, don't just, you know, don't just like waste time or just use that as an excuse to eat other things. Actively be working your way through that transition. Now, as you get to transition, you know, I don't do oil. So that's one of the things, you know, maybe you don't give that people don't necessarily give that up immediately, but I do suggest giving it up or you are limiting it. And that's just my opinion. A lot of people lose their mind when you tell them talk about oil. If you want to use oil, use oil. It's concentrated fat to me. But you start cleaning your diet a little bit. You get to a cleaner version. You start having more raw meals. I kind of was going to write a book, and I still may write a book on the 30-day raw vegan food challenge. And the whole premise of that is like, okay, here it's almost like a 3 or 4 month. For the hardcore, it could be the 3-month process. For the less hardcore, it could be like a 5-month process. So here it is, if you haven't seen that video before. Basically, the first phase, first month, raw till noon. That's it. You eat raw till noon, and then I wouldn't say just eat raw till noon and then go willy-nilly and eat whatever and make poor choices the rest of the day. But really all your objective is during that month is just staying raw till noon. You know, fresh fruit in the morning, smoothies, nice cream. Man, you get your day started with about 800 or 900 calories worth of nice cream, and that keeps you going through the day. That's your first 30 days. Your second 30 days is basically raw till 4, raw till dinner. I say raw till dinner. You continue, you expand, you eat like I do. I mostly eat fruit up until lunch. I've started lately putting some greens in there. Well, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what. Just, you know, try to stick raw until dinner. I do recommend, you know, just to kind of start getting your digestion in order, get as many high water content fruits in there as possible. You know, I'm right now heavy on the bananas, but I'm getting peaches in there, and I'm trying to do that. So mix it up, you know, have some high water content fruit in there, bananas, and then at lunch, you know, now you're going until dinner with the raw. So, you know, there's lots of ideas at lunch, you know. I like to do my salad thing in the evening most of the time, 99% of the time. But if that's what you need to do, make a salad for lunch. Make a nice, healthy, fresh salad for lunch. Make it big. Our salads are big. We don't eat like normal people. Like a lot of raw vegans, plant-based people in general just have like huge bowls of salad. So you could have a big salad for lunch. Or if you've just been eating fruit or whatever, maybe it's time for a green smoothie. I've already had 2 green smoothies today so far, and they really keep you going. With the green smoothies, if you want to stay full, here's the trick. And I learned part of these things from Tanny Raw, you know, especially with the seeds parts of it. I mean, lunch. I had 7 bananas, I had a couple of handfuls of spinach in there, and I had chia seeds. And breakfast was basically the same except for hemp seeds instead of the chia seeds. So, you know, you get those in there. The little bit of you're getting omega-3s with the chia seeds, a little bit less omega-3s with the hemp seeds, but that helps with the greens. And that's just a good combination. I really like the bananas, greens, and seeds. Bananas, greens, and seeds. Okay, so you have that, or whatever. You know, I'm just kind of throwing some different things out there. You eat what you eat. Hell, if you want to eat banana and ice cream for lunch, you can eat banana and ice cream as much as you want to. Okay, then you get to dinner. Now, what I would suggest here, like in the second month of doing it, though, is if you did it that way, you know, if you were going to do it 30 days, and then continue on, try to have a clean dinner at night, or try to have a decent, you know, don't just like, okay, get to dinner like you're holding on and then eat junk, eat garbage, eat high fat stuff. But also too, don't be too fanatic about that. If you need to use some fat, if you need to have some nuts in certain things you're making, if your fat content, in other words, needs to be a little bit higher in the beginning, that's okay. But try to keep it as clean as possible. And like I say, I'm big on those sweet potatoes. That is a great, you know, once you're in that second month, if you're going raw till dinner, and then man, have like a big dinner of like sweet potatoes, quinoa. If you're still eating legumes at the time, you know, you could have some beans with that. But I would mainly just say have some sweet potatoes and a bunch of steamed vegetables there. You know, maybe season them a little bit to where they taste good, and eat plenty. Eat plenty. Eat as many of the sweet potatoes as you want to, because we're not restricting calories here. All right. You get to, you're finished month number 2. Now, if you're on the fast track, the 3rd month, you just go boom. You go fully raw. But I broke that down even into 2 more parts, so it could be fully 5 months between going from here to fully raw if you're trying to get to fully raw. So in that 3rd month, maybe in the 3rd month, or if you want to stay a little bit systematic, here's what you do. Month number 3. Month number 3, you've gotten raw till dinner down. Now you're going to be fully raw 3 days a week. So that means you're eating raw food 3 days of the week. Now you're still going to have your cooked for 4 days of the week. So that's going to give you a little, psychologically, as we drop these, it's just giving you a little bit of comfort, because anybody can get through a day eating raw. I think what trips people up is this kind of idea, oh my God, I'm never going to eat cooked, or I'm not eating, there's no cooked in sight. See, when you're doing it 3 days a week, you know you're going to eat some cooked throughout the week. But once again, you know, I would say help yourself. Try to keep it as clean as possible. Now, you don't have to, if there's a day, maybe you eat 4, you know, but don't push yourself. All you're trying to do this month is you're trying to be fully raw 3 days a week. Month number 4 comes around, you're trying to be raw 5 days a week, I'm sorry. You jump from 3 to 5. Now you're down to 2 days. You know, you're having your cooked food 2 days of the week. But still, psychologically, you know, okay, you're very high raw at this point. You're being fully raw, you know, 5 days out of the 7. And once again, this is if you're trying to be fully raw. This is just kind of, you can get off of the train anywhere you want to on the raw spectrum. But if you're trying to get to fully raw, so that 4th month, you're going 5 days a week, fully raw. Then comes month number 5, and that's when you go with it. That's when you move on over to, you know, you're doing it 7 days a week. Now, one more little thing I'm going to add in there. During this time, this is really going to be the important time where you're starting to get some recipes down that you like. It's very, very, very important that you have recipes that you like. You have recipes that are easy for you to make, that you will make over and over, and that you like. So get out there, find some recipes, and if you find other people's recipes, mine or anybody else's, make them your own. Make them your own.